Well, hello there, everyone. It's like you hear talking about here for for part 5. I talk about right here. It's like for number 5. For why we wear gloves, and basically the understanding about it's like for understanding about for gloves though. If we were to think about inside a refrigerator, that for anything that more likely we would find inside the refrigerator, and just thinking about how many germs do we think that could be located inside the refrigerator, and talking about my really about cabinet right here, and then right here we'll just say maybe a drinking bottle or something like that, and this comes off, and then that goes back on, and then like wondering like if it's between orange juice and maybe say for chocolate milk. But just thinking about right here, I get a chocolate milk. Does that look good to you? Other than that, like chocolate right here, not so good. But on the other hand, how many germs do you think that could be located inside the refrigerator? And between the toilet and in the bathroom, it's like between the kitchen and the bathroom, maybe the garage, is just thinking about how many germs do we think that could be located inside the refrigerator. Even if we can't see them, then how many germs do we think that could be located inside here? So just thinking about that, maybe one little wash, maybe per week, something like that, maybe could you say limit your number of germs that could be found inside the refrigerator. But also known about it's like for if it's dishwashing soap or anything like that. But important reason for knowing about it's like for we wear gloves for maybe that particular reason, and thinking about anything that more likely that we could get on our hands. And I think after about maybe a couple of hours, and then it's like yeah. Well, I think I'm about ready to watch the game or watch my favorite TV show. It's like gets in your eyes, and then of course it can cause an infection inside your eye, and then maybe rub your forehead or something like that. I'm like, your hair, and thinking about, I'm like, well, really, you don't need those germs, and thinking about, just because your hands are not wet, that don't mean necessarily, the germs are not there. Just thinking about that. Whenever we do clean out the refrigerator, and you have right here, it's like the room, the temperature measure, but you have right here, got some cupcakes as well. I'm like, you have these cupcakes, and I'm like, the top, I'm like, thinking about really anything that you can maybe find inside the refrigerator that more likely that could be stale or maybe going bad or something like that. Thinking about, I'm like, really, that those things are about as hard as a brick. But other than that, like I talk about right here, here's cupcakes, and then a few other things too. I'm like, it's going to be like a salad. You got right here is a salad, and thinking about, by the time you go into the refrigerator and take it out and put it in the microwave, or maybe any meals that you more likely that are served, and thinking about, well, if you were to wear gloves, maybe not like these, but then maybe another kind, maybe the kind that where say handle food properly, and thinking about really about that as long as you wash your hands, it more likely, but then it's like you wash them real good. But then I would probably say that I'm like, between handling raw food and then handling cooked, to sanitize your food, it is that thinking about really what's the whole matter about, say, when we wear gloves. There are maybe some kind that you put on and then you just do type of plumbing type work, and then there are some kind to where it's like you do the hard scrubbing type work. And then there's a kind to where that, like you say, do the power to window washing type work. And then there's a kind to where you can do maybe a few individual type work. But on your hand, I talk about say maybe with these 5 or more reasons to why like we gotta wear gloves, like we gotta look good. But other than that, I talk about right here is understanding about, I'm like, really, I'm like, if there's maybe a few holes or something like that inside the gloves, and thinking about really time for a new pair, and then knowing about between the washcloth, and then right here is a sponge right here. Think about how many germs do we think that could be located inside the refrigerator. And right here, you got right here are some eggs. And knowing about, I'm like, really, I try to crack one open and thinking about, really, I could be doing this like other than that, I talk about right here, I don't know if I say with eggs though, that I'm like, really, like, if you boil them, you could spoil them. But other than that, I talk about right here, you have right here is the eggs right here. But on your hand, just thinking about the important chore reasons to why we wear gloves. Is it over the fact about that anywhere that we may go around the house or maybe at the office, thinking about how many germs are more likely that we could pick up, and thinking about, how many germs we pick up and how many that we could wash, as well as like you get rid of. But other than that, I talk about my, we may not be able to eliminate all the germs or get rid of all the germs, but one of those that we more likely could control, knowing about really about for what our hands touch, and thinking about is like if it's going to be any type of heavy jobs or anything like that. As I talk about, it's like between the washcloth and then the sponge, and then you got these three different types of working power, and thinking about really, and like which one has the power, which one has the power, which one has the power. But other than that, talking right here, so I'd say for why we wear gloves, 5 color. And I talk about safe, but talk about understanding about it's like a important reason to why we wear gloves, 5. And also is knowing about is like reasons to why we wear gloves is knowing about right here. We're working right here is like with the glove, and then like right here is with the grill, like the top of glove, and knowing about my so far as understand for hot. But other than that, what I talk about right here is like a grill, kind of like this right here, to where if you were to wipe it clean, and alongside with the stove tops right here. But then it's like the same, like, with this type of glove right here, usually that is, for around heat. So if we were talking about right here, it's like for hot or hots. But other than that right here is that if you talk about you between cleaning it and working with like with the meats or anything like that, and thinking about for like extra protection that we can have, is like for our face and for any other parts of the skin, to where that like anything such as grease or any other type of hot products that more likely they could come off the grills for extra protection, that it contains for keeping the gloves, like types of gloves, keeps our skin safe, and like other safe parts of our hand, knowing about specific reasons to why we wear gloves. And like reasons for why maybe we wear gloves is like if it's going to be like the glove right here, you have here's a spatula, and the way that we pick it, pick the meats and stuff like that off the grill. But one thing we all know about is like maybe was like with the type of the way that how we handle it too. But then on the other hand, knowing about like that something that maybe that you protects anybody, it's like from between getting burnt, and then maybe for any working with chemicals or anything like that, any type of protection for any other particular reason. But knowing about one of those could be it's like for like safety, knowing about like really. But the reason to why we wear gloves is like as far as to for extra protection, as well as knowing about really like for what makes us look like, which is for professionals like so far as expert. But knowing about right here, I try to say for reasons to why it's like we wear gloves. It's like knowing about it is like right here. It's like first is it's the salt, and then the pepper, and then the salt, and then the pepper. It's like I say, then the salt, and then the shaker, and then the salt, and then the shaker. And like I say, for reasons to why we wear gloves is knowing, and then it's the salt, and then the pepper, and then the salt, and then the pepper. And that I say reason why we wear gloves.